So I'm going to start with an instrumental. Pre-lockdown, I sometimes did a bit of performance with a Iraqi musician friend who plays the oud, and he taught me a number of tunes, and I then found myself improvising on them on the piano, because the piano doesn't have quarter tones, so it's not exactly accurate. And I said, Ahmed, do you mind me improvising on these tunes? He said, no, not at all, that's really nice. So here we go. This is called Sami Kurd. This song is called Dignity. We live in a world of inequality, where wealth coexists with slavery. In pursuit of profits, we cut down the trees. In the name of progress, we poison the seas. We still make weapons and go to war, and consumer culture wants more and more. Say no to inequality, don't treat the earth as a commodity. We can live quite differently together in dignity. Earth's heating up, we've got to cool it down. Coastal communities will drown. Already there's people adrift on the sea, and the creatures of the Arctic have nowhere to be. Time is up, we've got to choose. If we don't change, our life will lose. Say no to inequality, don't treat the earth as a commodity. We can live quite differently together in dignity. Can't keep taking without end that on which your life depends. Water, air, the right to be, and peace in your community. The earth is everybody's home, no one survives alone. Say no to inequality, don't treat the earth as a commodity. We can live quite differently together in dignity. Oil and gas are running low, there's no quick fix, we got to slow down. Start to care about the rest of life out there. We've gone the wrong way for far too long. Time to admit the system's wrong. Say no to inequality, don't treat the earth as a commodity. We can live quite differently together in dignity. communicating with the toxins we're creating. Coral reefs in luminous seas, ancient forests of mighty trees are priceless, and they cannot be brought back with any money. Say no to inequality, don't treat the earth as a commodity. We can live quite differently together in dignity. Say no to inequality, don't treat the earth as a commodity. We can live quite differently together in dignity. Okay, so it's a lot to fix. How do we do it? No one said it's easy. No one said it's easy to live sustainably, grow and eat locally, create a green economy. But governments won't do it, and corporations just want to make a profit. So it's down to you and me to build community. Hours of slogging at the weeding, even sitting in boring meetings talking about insulation or renewable energy installation. But planting trees is a lot of fun, and you feel so good when you get it done. In a year you'll have an apple or pear, and in 5 years there'll be loads to share. Being green doesn't mean a life of sacrifice and pain. It's easy to switch off a light, you don't need to leave them on all night. Forget the big society, let's build a real community. Create the world we want to see, take control of the economy. Retire the bankers, let them be employed more usefully, planting, growing peacefully, even living collectively. All of us can learn to be on the earth quite differently. No one said it's easy to protect biodiversity, make decisions more slowly, recreate society, find different ways to be, eat more thoughtfully, celebrate Earth's beauty, and every being in the Earth community. The Earth communities is a phrase I've borrowed from Thomas Berry. I don't know if you know his work. He called himself a geologian. He was a Jesuit monk living in the States, when he died recently. And he embraced all religions. The name geologian was indicating he embraced all religions and wanted to make the connection for us as humans with our beingness in the universe through our connection to the earth. And he talks about needing to not just make outward changes, adaptations, try me better, to actually redefine what it means to be a human being in the sense of how we connect with the rest of, with the earth and the rest of life on earth and everything that is part of the earth, that we are part of that earth community that includes every mountain, every blade of grass, every insect, everything. So yeah, that's Thomas Berry. So I read that Cornwall, people in Cornwall are getting a lot of bookings for summer holidays. I hope lots of places in Spain and Portugal are getting lots of bookings from Spanish and Portuguese people for holidays too. So that's great. Of course, the question remains, how is everybody going to get there? Well, you know the answer to that. holiday. Remember to stay in the good old UK and safely in your mask. You don't need to ask, what's the better way to travel? Take the train, but not the high-speed rail connection. Take the train, Dr. Beeching got it all wrong. Take the train, the slow and stopping one. Relax and take the train. Take the train, it's good to slow down. Take the train and socially distance, talk to someone. Take the train, you can read as you go along. Relax and take the train. Take the train and don't worry about the petrol. Take the train and watch the landscape floating by. Take the train, you can dream the journey long. Relax and take the train. Take the train, it's better for your blood pressure. Take the train, you don't have to swear at other drivers. Take the train, reduce your carbon footprint. Relax and take the train. Take the train, what's the hurry? Take the train, you don't need to scurry. Take the train without a worry. Relax and take the slow, slow, slow and stopping, slow and stopping, slow and stopping train. Now, don't you remember British Gas, now known as Centrica, a profit-making company? I wrote this song a couple of years ago when somebody called Ian Conn was the chairman, because I was so shocked by the amount of the handouts he got compared to the average wage of a British gas worker in a call centre. Since then, there have been numerous chairmen. In fact, let me check this. Last year, because they only made a modest profit last year of £2.7 billion, very sad. But this Sam Laidlaw said he would waive his bonus because he would still get 2.5 million anyway to take home. And yeah, so they need up to, oh, and their share prices have gone down, so they need to make up the shortfall. For any of you who are not up on your corporate speak, restructure in corporate speak means sack lots of workers, freeze or lower the wages of the rest, get rid of the holidays, and increase your profits. Restructure. Restructure, restructure, it's all the rage at Centrica. Restructure, restructure, it's all the rage. Restructure, restructure, it's all the rage at Centrica. Restructure, restructure, it's all the rage. When Mr. Conn, the chairman, gets a cool 2.4 million payout, and British Gas workers in call centres get 22,000 a year or less, in fact. Restructure, restructure, it's all the rage at Centrica. Restructure, restructure, it's all the rage. So Mr. Conn, we'd like to say, could you restructure yourself away? The fossil fuel industry thrives on inequality, divides community. Pipelines cut through people's lands, but the profits don't end up in their hands. Restructure, restructure, it's all the rage at Centrica. Restructure, restructure, it's all the rage. Restructure, restructure, we'd like to see more solar. Restructure, restructure, we'd like to see the pipelines go away from Azerbaijan, Italy, Indonesia, Mozambique and Mexico. Methane leaks into the air from the pipelines everywhere, and we know what it does there. Locked in global warming, and the people who are suffering are the poor and dispossessed. Restructure, restructure, it's all the rage, Centrica. Restructure, restructure, it's all the rage. Restructure, restructure, it's all the rage, Centrica. Restructure, restructure, it's all the rage. So Mr. Con, or Laidlaw, or Berry, or Huiwei, we'd like to say, could you restructure your fossil fuel industry away? This next song actually was written during a very boring meeting about home insulation. It's called The British Winter because, as we know from recently, we do still get cold snaps in our winters. If your house is rather old, chances are you will get cold in the British winter. T-shirts are not winter garb, this is not the warm Algarve. Behold the British winter. Suffering is not our thing, we want to make it through to spring. Chilblain free, warm and dry, we can do it if we try. So wear your woolies and we'll beat the cold with our internal heat. Draft-proofing and insulation are handy for the British nation in an icy winter. Talk nicely to the sheep, their wool may be the thing to keep your loft protected from the winds of winter. Suffering is not our thing, we want to make it through to spring. Chilblain free, warm and dry, we can do it if we try. So find your thermals and we'll beat the cold with our internal heat. Now, next song was written for Zena and her group when they were engaged in a consultation with their local council's planning committee about housing. Apparently, according to Zena, it was quite successful as a song, which was pleasing. So this is called Dear Planners. What kind of home do you want to see to keep within 1.5 degrees of global warming? What an opportunity! What kind of home will we build together on this earth we share with every creature? Will we be wild and free? Take up the opportunity. Only build on brownfield sites, give animals and plants their rights. Leave the green to do its thing, where insects hum and birds can sing. We can have space to be. What kind of future will we build together on this earth we share with every creature? Can we be wild and free? Take up the opportunity. Super energy efficiency and higher housing density. No more cars, so you free the space from parking, and in its place grow food and plant trees. What kind of future will we build together on this earth we share with every creature? Can we be wild and free? Take up the opportunity. Reduce the need for so much stuff, most of us have enough, so we don't need any more deliveries to our door. Keep our streets emissions free. What kind of future will we build together on this earth we share with every creature? Can we be wild and free? Take up the opportunity. Bicycles, train and bus are surely much better for us than getting stuck inside a car with your blood pressure rising much too far. It's not just not healthy. What kind of future will we build together on this earth we share with every creature? Can we be wild and free? Take up the opportunity. opportunity. Invest in renewable energy with a land allocation policy. Make drinking water free and ensure food security. No profits from poverty. What kind of future will we build together on this earth we share with every creature? Can we be wild and free? Take up the opportunity. No one should have to pay a fortune for a place to lay their head. Your neighbours kind and fair, happy to coexist and share with their community. What kind of future will we build together on this earth we share with every creature? Can we be wild and free? Take up the opportunity. What kind of future will we build together on this earth we share with every creature? Can we be wild and free? Take up the opportunity. I hope they make the right decision. Now, here in my home county of Wales, of Powys in Wales, we have a different planning problem, which is intensive poultry units, intensive chicken farms. Currently there's over 8 million chickens at any one time locked into sheds in Wales, and they only live for just over a month before they're slaughtered. And apart from their horrible lives, they cause problems because they produce vast quantities of poo, and that poo is very acidic and high in nitrates and phosphates, which are okay in small quantities, that's fine, but in the quantities there are now with all these millions of chickens, they're causing huge problems. Nitrates damage biodiversity because the rare plants can't cope with that amount of nutrients. Nitrates and phosphates will get into the earth and run off down into the water. The rivers are getting clogged. Nitrogen combines with oxygen to form nitrous oxide, which is 300 times more globally warming than CO2. The animal feed is based on soya, which may come from deforested bits of the Amazon, and the whole thing requires vast amounts of truck movements in construction and then taking the chickens in and out and the feed and the poo and everything. And they stink. Regularly here, particularly in the summer, you get a sort of miasma over the town when the slurry is being spread. So, yeah, this is called In the Poultry Capital of Wales. It was actually the poultry capital of Europe, but I changed it to the poultry capital of Wales. The Guardian article. See, we got in the Guardian. In the poultry capital of Wales, there's lots of chicken poo. It's smothering the fields, and it isn't good for you. It poisons soil and rivers, and makes a fearsome stink. And bubbling spring water is no longer fit to drink. In the poultry capital of Wales, there's slurry to be spread. It doesn't seem to matter if the rivers are all dead. The economy comes first, farmers must diversify, and it's just collateral damage as we watch the landscape die. It's a sad life for the chickens with no daylight or fresh air. They're dead within about a month, but the companies don't care. The profits aren't for locals, they go to global corporations. And as they rake the cash in, they say they're feeding nations. Small farms are collapsing, supermarkets are doing well. They drive the prices down and down and let the farmers go to hell. Cheap food is what we need, they cry, to feed those who are poor. But when you've slogged for hours at minimum wage, you deserve much more. We could feed the world if society were fair, and the fields given back to those who want to live and share, and work the land in common so all can eat well. No one anywhere will be left to go to hell. In the poultry capital of Wales, there isn't time to lose. Future generations we choose. Don't let them suffocate in a stinking pile of slurry. Don't let the planners fool you saying there's no need to worry. Will we leave to the future a landscape that is dying, with no insects buzzing and just a few birds flying? We can choose a different way, so all can live well. We don't have to take the path that leads us into hell. No, we don't have to take the path that leads us into hell. There's something in Wales called the Wellbeing of Future Generations Act, and we've pointed out numerous times to the government and the council that forcing farmers to intensify farming in order to produce bad food is not very good for future generations, but so far they haven't lived up to the promises of that act, which is a shame. I understand Caroline Lucas is trying to get one passed in England. I hope England does better with it. So the next song is not that one. The next song is called Swifts. There's always that moment of tension in the summer. Are they going to get? Are they going to get here? Are they going to make it back? And when they do, it's just so wonderful. Swifts, beautiful swifts, turning and diving, racing and screaming, swifts. Every year we wait in anticipation, fearful of storms or accidents that might destroy you in your long journey of thousands of miles. Then joyfully you return, swirling through the sky, calling in delight, laughing and screaming, magnificent, beautiful swifts. You mate for life, and you return to the same haunts, sleeping on the wing, eating on the wing, loving on the wing. You only touch down to nest. Don't abandon us, swifts. Now, I don't imagine anybody listening to this uses a tumble dryer, but I did read that at least some years back in the States there was a considerable use of tumble dryers, and they are one of the most energetically demanding forms of drying. Well, the most energetically demanding way you could find to dry your washing. So I wrote this song called Washing Line. Washing line, it's very fine to dry your clothes on a washing line. If you use a tumble dryer, the planet will grumble, make her happy, use a washing line. Zero carbon power of the wind and sun, just leave them alone till they are done. Washing line, it's very fine to dry your clothes on a washing line. If you use a tumble dryer, the planet will grumble. Make her happy, use a washing line. If it rains, you needn't worry, you don't have to hurry. Wait till the sun comes out and the wind will blow your clothes about. It's environmentally so friendly to make the washing wait. And if you hate housework, it's great. Washing line is very fine to dry your clothes on washing line. If you use a tumble dryer, the planet will grumble. Make her happy, make her happy, make her happy. Use a washing line. Now, how many of you like chocolate? I mean, I like chocolate, and I gave it up for years when I first became vegan because you couldn't get decent chocolate then if you were vegan. It was sort of not very nice. It was some weird thing that Planel did, I think. But the thing about chocolate, now we get all this wonderful organic, fair trade, exotic chocolate, but it's very perilous. It's remarkable we get any at all because the cocoa plant is pollinated by a tiny midge, and that midge can't fly very far, has rather poor eyesight, and apparently finds it very difficult to even get into the flower to pollinate it. So it's a big thing. Oh, chocolate, chocolate, the midge that pollinates it doesn't always make it. Chocolate, chocolate, can't be sure there'll always be more. Chocolate comes from the cocoa bean. Its flower is pollinated by a midge that's hardly seen. It's very, very small and it can't fly far. A lot of effort goes into a chocolate bar. Oh, chocolate, chocolate, the midge that pollinates it doesn't always make it. Chocolate, chocolate, we can't be sure there'll always be more. The weather's changing and having effects on all forms of life, including insects. If you're small, it's hard to fly when storms are raging through the sky. Oh, chocolate, chocolate, the midge that pollinates it doesn't always make it. Chocolate, chocolate, we can't be sure there'll always be more. Cocoa midges like damp and shade. They're not big fans of free trade. Plantations are too hot and dry. Wild forests are where they love to fly. Oh, chocolate, chocolate, the midge that pollinates it doesn't always make it. Chocolate, chocolate, we can't be sure there'll always be more. However small a midge may be, it needs to eat like you and me. So don't begrudge the no-see-ums your blood they need. We need their pollination. Oh, chocolate, chocolate, the midge that pollinates it doesn't always make it. Chocolate, chocolate, we can't be sure there'll always be more. Oh, chocolate, chocolate, the midge that pollinates it doesn't always make it. Chocolate, chocolate, we can't be sure there'll always be more. And continuing on the theme of very small insects that bite humans and we may have a rather troubled relationship with, consider the plight of the Arctic mosquito. Now, a female mosquito needs one blood meal, and one only, in order to be able to lay her eggs. And that's okay if you're living somewhere where there's lots of mammals around, wandering around, that you can sip a bit of blood from. But that's not so easy in the Arctic. Now, this song was inspired by this book. It's A Naturalist's Guide to the Arctic by Evelyn Cristalla-Pielou, a Canadian mathematical ecologist. I'm not sure what a mathematical, I'm in trouble with my words today, a mathematical ecologist is. Describing the life of the female Arctic mosquito, she writes, consider the hardships they face. So this is the song of the Arctic mosquito contemplating a melting iceberg. It's a hard life, it's a hard life, searching for food in a barren landscape. It's a hard life, it's a hard life, hunting for blood nourish my eggs. Flying around on my slender wings, desperately searching for prey. My only goal, to lay my eggs before death takes me away. Hated and feared by humankind because of the diseases I bear. They try to destroy me, forgetting that I am food for others to share. It's a hard life, it's a hard life, searching for food in a barren landscape. It's a hard life, it's a hard life, hunting for blood to nourish my eggs. As the ice caps melt and the permafrost dissolves, there'll be more stagnant ponds where we can thrive. We exist to explore every possible niche. Like all creatures, we aim to survive. We can bring down an army, destroy a city, though we are fragile and small. As the nectar of warm mammal blood flows through us, we'll watch your civilization fall. It's a hard life, it's a hard life, searching for food in a barren landscape. It's a hard life, it's a hard life, hunting for blood to nourish my eggs. So remember that next time you see a mosquito. In fact, we don't get many mosquitoes now, which bothers me. When I was a kid, we did have mosquitoes and never come across them now. So I think it's quite amazing that all the life we know is contained in this very, very thin layer of atmosphere, which we're busy damaging, about 10 miles, which is astonishingly thin. The occasional spider, I think, might get a bit beyond that up into the troposphere, but most of life lies below it. Thin skin. Every creature, every plant, every every shimmering filament, every delicate strand in this thin skin, thin skin. Spinning, 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 spinning through space. Now, we've got to deal with corporations, and to do so, we need to enlist every ally we have, including vegetables. This song is called The Ugly Vegetables. We're misshapen and distorted, we're quite ugly to behold. We're not symmetrical or well proportioned, or so we're told. But we're flavoursome and wonderful to those who really care. And if you go to Tesco's local, we won't be there. They say that beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and certainly it seems that way, especially when you're older. But an ancient tree is a marvel to behold, and nourishes and protects other life as it grows old. We won't fit on the shelf, we're good for your health. We're not interested in increasing corporate wealth. Life did not evolve to serve the corporations. Those that don't fit in are cause for celebration. Nature doesn't always follow a straight line, bending, curving, wiggling through space and time. Life did not evolve to serve the corporations. Those that don't fit in are cause for celebration. Rejoice in the awkward, misshapen and the plain. Nature doesn't work for profit or for corporate gain. Celebrate your bumps and warts and prickly skin, and the power of the vegetables that won't fit in. They are appearing now in certain shop aisles, but not enough. So I think this is going to be the last song. It's about, we know that unfortunately the oceans are heating up even faster than the earth. I mean the earth as in the land mass of the earth, with all sorts of bad knock-on effects. This song is called Save the Plankton. Do feel free to join in the chorus and also the bit at the end if you feel like letting your imagination go wild. Save the plankton in the sea. Save the plankton, keep it floating free. Save the plankton in the sea. Save the plankton, keep it floating free. Happy plankton that cannot photosynthesize, starves, shrivels up and dies, and so calm and endlessly goes on filling up the sea. Save the plankton in the sea. Save the plankton, keep it floating free. Save the plankton in the sea. Save the plankton, keep it floating free. Happy plankton need enough to eat, but alas it's starting to feel the heat. Overwhelmed by CO2, poor old plankton, what can it do? Save the plankton in the sea. Save the plankton, keep it floating free. Save the plankton in the sea. Save the plankton, keep it floating free. To keep our plankton floating happily, we ought to do something and do it quickly. Keep that that carbon in the ground. Change our ways, reverse the positive feedback loop, and turn things around. Save the plankton in the sea. Save the plankton, keep it floating free. Save the plankton in the sea. Save the plankton, keep it floating free. Cut your fossil fuel consumption, plant more trees, eat more veg. Save the oceans and the rivers. Save the oceans and the rivers. Instead of fencing, grow a hedge. Ditch the plastic, use more baskets. Don't even try to remember what it is we thought you needed. You can get by without it. I'm sure you can get by. Save the plankton, cut your fossil fuel consumption. Save the oceans and the rivers. And in that brave new world, when we've managed to stay within 1.5 degrees of global warming, what's it going to be like? The only borders we will know of will be full of flowers. Streets will be free of traffic, with children playing outside for hours and hours. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Camilla.
Thank you. Wonderful.